anything like that, you know, any kind of voodoo is only real if you give power to it. And it's like, yeah, it's saying, Virgo, you've been given so much power to your old story. But this is now about taking back control and saying, you know what? Enough is enough. You know, yes, I've had my fair share, but so has everybody else, you know. So this is where you're going to break through from this and find this security in yourself, which will probably make you more abundant, more ambitious, more secure, and financially, emotionally, and spiritually secure than what you've ever been, by realizing, like, shit, I've been, you know, I bought into my old story. That's where I put my investment. No wonder I haven't had a return from it. Okay, so this again could be connected with money, but it's almost like I'm seeing you here, like blooming. It's like the lotus flower. And I have a lotus flower tattooed on my back, actually. But it's the more shit that a lotus flower has put on it, the stronger and more beautiful it grows. So it's like, you know, it grows from the deepest, darkest mud. So if you see that this is your strength, this is where you're actually, this is how you can handle all of these things. And you know what I mean? And you're in this place of, you can do stuff, you know, you're going to see this has been a massive gift and a blessing. Okay. So this is it. This is what you're going to be taught within this Taurus moon, that yes, the tower is going to hit, but the tower was just your old stories. And as I always say, you know, when we look at fairy tales, when people were in a tower, what was it about? They were sitting there waiting to be saved. You can save yourself, Virgo, because you've done it thousands of times before. You have the knowledge. Now it's taking the action. Okay. So this tower that Rapunzel was in, the man in the iron mask, all of that, you know, that was just restricting you. So let them stories fall away. Burn the pages of that book. Burn that book, because it's not the story you want anymore. Okay. I like that one. So, right, so that's Virgo. So now we have Libra. Libra. Right, okay, this is interesting, Libra. So what this is saying here, okay, I don't know if you're feeling conflict, or there's been conflict or past conflict, okay? So what this is saying here is, where there has been conflict, when you see this as each bit of conflict has been your teacher, okay? So you've gone from student, to master, because where there's been conflict, and where conflict arises when we are not in true alignment, or our alignment is being questioned, when we are not in our truth, we feel uncomfortable, and then it comes with conflict, okay? Because it's conflicting interests, you know. So it's like I say, somebody is saying you're wrong, you're saying somebody else is wrong, you know. That is where there's conflict. And they're saying here that what this has been teaching you is, there's been like alarm bells. This is it, you know. Every time there's been conflict, it's almost like an alarm bell, but you may have seen it as like a like a boxing ring, like ding ding ding, round 2, ding ding, round 3, you know. And it's like, how many rounds do you have to go before you throw the towel in? Because what this is saying is that you need to, or this has been happening, this conflict, and this is, I don't know if the conflict is now or what, but it's actually talking about, this is the where you can step into your security, which is what these readings are. And it's saying you are born to shine. You are born to step up and step into your power and really work from your solar plexus. This, now a solar plexus doesn't say, right, we can go and we can knock 10 bells of shit out of somebody. That's not solar plexus power. Solar plexus power is standing up against whoever opposes you and going, yeah, okay, I'm not going to have conflict with you because I am strong enough to be my own leader and to lead my own way. Now, Libras often have a problem with communication, as well, because they like to be the peacekeeper. But this is often at the cost of their peace, okay? So it costs them their peace. So what this is saying here is whatever pain you have endured, and I still feel this stuff there because it's still quite, it's still quite raw. So whatever wounds are there are just actually saying to you that this has been taking you to the point of love. So the pain has been so that you can understand love and actually come from your heart, rather than having to fight it here, so there's a big learning coming for you as well. And I feel a lot of this learning is looking at where you have been your worst enemy with this as well, and making the changes necessary that so you can be in your power and you can be shining, and if anybody says that you're shining in their eyes, then tell them to get some shades on, because if you want your future to be bright, then, this is what you've got to do. So there's an opportunity for transformation here, but it's assertiveness, not aggression here, It's learning to say no to others and yes to yourself. You can say yes to others if it doesn't mean it's not, if you're saying no to yourself. Okay, if you have to say yes and that means you're saying no to you, then that isn't going to make you secure, So I hope that makes sense, Libra. Sorry, someone just came up on my screen there. Right. Okay, so Libra, Scorpio. Whenever I say Scorpio, it's always like Scorpio. Can you remember the past show? Me and my housemate were talking about him the other day. Julio Jordio. He was the Spanish footballer in the past show. That's what my Spanish is like. Okay, so Scorpio. Right, okay, Scorpio, this is interesting, okay? Where I feel you're going to be tested this time is there's kind of, you're going to have a bit of to stand in your truth here. It's almost like, is it more important to be seen or is it more important to be heard? Okay, that's what's coming through there. So I'm saying like, where you want to kind of, to be there and be seen, okay? But when you're seen, is that really important, because they say don't judge a book by its cover. So people can form an opinion on what they see, which might be a good opinion or it might not be, okay? Whereas if you've got something to say, then it doesn't matter. I mean, look at how many people, where we've gone from a lot of people now don't read books. They have audio books and stuff like that, because people can then form their own opinion, within their heads. Because it's saying here that your words could be getting tainted or marred. Marred, is marred a word? That's what they're saying. Marred by visuals. Okay, so it's, again, as I mentioned before, with this the way the world is at the moment, it's what do you value more? Okay, what do you value more? So this is what you're going to be called to question here. You know, do you value how you're seen, or do you value how you're heard? Because that is where there's going to be a bit of a battle here, you know. So this could be in a way connected to vanity, or the value that you put on looks rather than essence, kind of thing. And it could be costing you your peace. So you have something to share, but it's almost like it doesn't need to have bells and whistles on it, you know, in order for people to take notice of it. You know, that can actually it can repel people rather than actually embrace them, if that makes sense, you know. So it's saying here, it's narrow it down, simplify your life, you know. So I mean, this could even be a case of, you know, somebody who gets up every morning and puts their makeup on and does their hair and all of that, you know, before they step out in the outside world. And it's why, you know, why do you need to do that? You know, why do you not just step out as you are, because that is your truth, you know? So it's like I say, people make judgments on what they see. And I feel this is what is coming in strong for you at this time. So it's coming in to ask you, you know, it's almost like Judgment Day. Okay, you could be judged on something, or you could judge yourself or judge others at this time, you know, on what they look like or looks rather than true value. Okay, so yeah, it was funny the other day. Spirit said something to me, and I've got it wrote down there, and it was where is it? And it said something, your beauty runs deeper than what you look like. It's like, all right, that's cool. So, right, so that was Scorpio. So Sagittarius. Yeah, how can you stand in your truth? Yeah, they're flying out here for Sagittarius. I didn't even have to pull them. They're coming out themselves. Right, okay. Right, this is interesting. This is interesting because it's all about truth here. But it's saying here that you could actually, I don't feel you're battling anybody. I feel the battle that you're going to have, Sagittarius, is with yourself, okay? And where you self-sabotage, okay? So this is where it's almost where you sabotage your creativity, your path, your truth, and something that you love. So it's like you're kind of like the activists, Sagittarius, you know, you go out and you fight for truth and justice and inhumanity and blah, blah, blah. So you've got this, you know, like if you imagine feminists, you know, like of the 70s and everything, you know, they're there and they're protesting and they're blah, blah, blah. So, you know, that is what you call to fight, you know, a little anarchist kind of thing. But they're saying that isn't truly you, because you really are soft. So when you're stepping into this fight, you know, and having to get yourself into this position of fighting or feeling that you've got to defend or attack to defend, that actually causes you more pain inside, internally. So it robs you of your truth, which, yes, you are a freedom fighter. You believe in freedom. You believe in equality. You believe in that for the world, you know, but you don't fight for peace. You peace for peace. you know? So it's be the example rather than be the opposition, you know? Think of a creative way you can get your truth across without aggression, you know? Like I say, you could do it with humor. You could do it with something like that. You have this ability to do this. But this is saying to you, you have a choice. Do you get angry, you know, or do you actually get kind of inspired? So when you inspire people, you know, with who you are and with your light and with your creativity, you don't have to fight them. You know, you don't, because if you want people to get on your page and, you know, you want to be in your truth and you're a truth fighter, you know, you're a freedom fighter, you know, that's what you are. But be a freedom kind of feeler, be a freedom, you know, kind of freedom fun kind of thing. You know, you don't have to fight for it. You just have to be it. And that's when people will want to follow. If you're free, they will want to follow. If you fight, you know, then people might not be in your corner. So it's use your power in the direction of truth and love, okay? Not truth and challenge. This is your lesson. This is where you will step in your truth, you know? Don't try and force people. Open the door and say to them, there you go, you know, come in if you want, you know, you're welcome. This is how I do things, you know. So let people invite themselves. You don't have to fight for them. Yeah. Wow, I'm loving these messages today. Right, okay, so Sagittarius, so we have Capricorn. Capricorn, interesting. Interesting. It's right. So again, there's an old story coming up, and I'm sorry if some of these are like kind of interlinking.